Okay, let's unpack this. We're diving into a topic that, it starts with a paradox, doesn't it? One that probably hits home for a lot of
It
families.
really does. That initial fear, maybe even dread, when a child is born different.
Right, and how that fear can somehow eventually transform into this, well, this profound
But
gift.
how? How do you actually navigate from that fear to finding the gift? That's the core question.
And what's great is our source material today really lives this question. We're doing a deep dive into excerpts from Born Extraordinary, Empowering Children with Differences and Disabilities. The author is Meg Zucker.
Yeah, and Meg Zucker, she's not writing this from like an academic perspective.
No, not at all. She was born with a specific genetic condition. It affects her hands and feet.
And her sons inherited it. So this is deeply personal. It's lived experience she's sharing.
Absolutely. It's not theory for her.
So our mission, in this deep dive is to pull out those key insights, real nuggets of knowledge from the book,
About empowering kids who are different, yeah, but also supporting the parents, the caregivers.
and just figuring out how to navigate a world that, let's face it, isn't always understanding.
It really boils down to finding dignity, building resilience, and maybe even spotting those blessings hidden in the challenges, the ones described in the sources.
Definitely. So if you're listening, maybe you're a parent, a caregiver, an educator, or honestly just someone facing unexpected stuff in life and looking for some understanding.
Then stick with us. This deep dive should have something for you.
Okay, so where do we start? The source really begins with the parent's inner world, that internal journey.
Right, that initial shock, the fear when a child is born different, even if maybe you knew there were risks.
Meg Zucker shares her own ultrasound story. The technician getting quiet, struggling.
Oof, yeah. And then the doctor just bluntly saying they could only find one finger on each hand and two toes on each foot.
And then almost unbelievably adding, I presume you both knew the risks. Just, wow.
So insensitive. Crushed is the word she uses to describe that feeling.
And tied right into that is this, like, immense weight of guilt parents can feel.
Oh, yeah. The author says feeling at fault doesn't even begin to describe it.
And it's not just her. She talks about her own mother, whose pediatrician actually blamed her condition on, get this, a rotten potato chip.
Seriously, a potato chip.
Yep. It just shows that deep, sometimes irrational need parents have to find a reason, any reason, and often they land on blaming themselves.
It's that search for answers, isn't it? Especially when things feel out of control.
Exactly. But the source points to something beautiful that can actually grow from that tough place.
A transformation.
Yeah, where that crushing guilt starts to morph into what Elizabeth Bruning calls unimaginable gushes of love and affection.
That moment you realize you don't ever have a baby. You have your baby.
Precisely. And the book makes a really critical point here, one that jumped out at me.
What's that?
That before parents can be that solid rock for their child, they kind of have to find that unconditional self-love for themselves first.
That makes sense. You can't really guide someone through a storm if you're drowning yourself, right? In your own guilt or fear about their difference.
Right. You need that foundation within yourself.
Okay, so moving past that initial emotional wave, the source gets into language, the power of words.
Yeah. The author, Meg Zucker, makes a very conscious choice. She uses the word different deliberately instead of disabled.
And she explains why, right?
She does. For her, disabled felt anchored in the concept of limitation, stuck.
Whereas her parents raised her differently.
Totally. They instilled this belief that the world was my oyster. They focused on her capability. She even mentions Golda Meir's reminder that she was simply enough.
Just as she was.
And there's this everyday example she gives that really cemented that negative feeling about disabled for her.
Oh, yeah.
Hearing disabled vehicle on traffic reports, it just linked the word to being broken down, stuck, unable to function.
Ah, I see. So choosing different wasn't just semantics, it was reframing, focusing on possibility, not limits.
Exactly. A powerful act of defining identity.
Okay, so let's dig into some of the core parenting philosophies the book puts forward. One feels, well, a bit counterintuitive at first. It's called leaning out.
Yes, leaning out. It's about fighting that powerful, natural urge to overprotect your child.
To jump in and fix everything, prevent any struggle or failure.
Precisely. Meg Zucker says her own parents did this. They leaned out, and she feels she blossomed in response.
Because they trusted her.
Yeah, and the source warns that being a nervous, panicky parent can actually backfire. It can create a child who's apprehensive, afraid to even try things.
So it's about building trust in their resilience, even if their way of doing things looks different.
Right. And this connects directly to another key idea, building dignity.
Dignity. How does that work?
The book talks about this balance, helping your child find and maintain their dignity out in public, in the world.
While still giving them the support they need, maybe behind the scenes at home?
Exactly. There's a great analogy teaching a kid to tread water. On the surface, you want them to look calm, capable.
But underneath, you're providing that steady support, that effort they need. Unseen, maybe, but essential.
And fundamental to all of this, for kids and adults, is figuring out what you can actually control.
Ah, the control what you can, release what you can't idea.
Yes, you can only truly manage your own reactions, your own behavior, not what other people think or do or say.
That's a tough one, though. The author mentions wishing for a genie to control other people's thoughts when she was younger.
Totally relatable. But her sons, growing up with their difference, seemed to grasp it differently. They learned the power was in controlling themselves.
And wasn't there some simple advice from her father?
Yeah. Worry about the things you can do something about. So practical.
We see this in action too, right? With the story of Victoria.
Yes. Victoria, who had alopecia, she made the choice to shave her head.
Taking control.
Exactly. She described it as cutting her stress away. A really powerful way to own her narrative, her response to her condition.
Okay, so that brings us to navigating those public reactions. That must be a huge piece of this.
Huge and unavoidable when a difference is visible. The book uses this really vivid image.
Which one?
Feeling like a car wreck on the side of the road.
Yeah.
With people constantly rubbernecking.
Wow. Yeah, I can picture that. Just constant scrutiny.
Even from people who mean well. They can say awkward things, ask really personal, probing questions.
It feels like a fast-speeding train coming right at you, she says. Or like being barraged with questions when you get engaged, but without any of the happy context.
Right. And she shares that story about the nursery school mom.
Oh, the one who made those unhelpful comments?
Yeah. It's only your first. You're still young.
Yeah.
Just clumsy, intrusive, and probably pretty hurtful.
So how do you prepare a child for that?
Well, the author actually came up with categories for her son, Charlie, to help him anticipate and sort of understand the reactions.
Categories? Like what?
The starers, whisperers, pointers, the curious Georges, the bullies, the scaredy cats, and the heroes.
That's interesting. It gives labels to the behavior.
And the key thing she taught him was the difference between genuine curiosity, like the curious Georges, maybe the scaredy cats who are just unsure, and intentional cruelty.
And the bullies.
Right. And the book offers concrete ways to respond to each.
Like what?
For starers,
Yeah.
maybe just smile back, act unbothered, or move away. For curious Georges, ask them questions, pivot the conversation.
And for bullies.
Feel pity, actually. Recognize they're probably unhappy. Happy kids are never mean and trying to offload their own pain. See them as a waste of time.
And the scaredy cats.
Show them you're just living life normally. And the heroes, cherish them.
That wink and knowing smile strategy comes up too, right? As
Yeah.
a sort of nonverbal tool.
Yeah, a simple way to acknowledge without engaging negativity.
The source also contrasts different ways adults prepare other kids, right?
Yes, that's a really important point.
Yeah.
There's a relative who sort of over-prepared his son, warned him about the author's difference.
And the kid ended up screaming in fear. Exactly. Versus the military mom whose daughter just approached injured veterans with natural, open curiosity.
So the message is foster understanding, not fear or awkwardness.
Precisely.
Okay, another big challenge the book tackles. Unsolicited help. People trying to help when you don't need or want it.
Oh, this is a huge one. Why do people do that, even when it's obvious the person is managing fine?
The book suggests it's often projection, right?
Yeah. They imagine themselves in that situation, think I'd be helpless, and so they assume the person must need help.
The author even jokes about it, saying she'd be a real hot mess if she actually had 8 extra fingers.
Right. But even well-intentioned help can feel intrusive.
Like a bothersome seagull, she says, swooping in.
Yeah. And she tells that story about being in a flower shop, resisting help, and accidentally poking herself in the eye with a wire stem, trying to prove she could manage.
Ouch. That sounds so frustrating. And the source lists tons of examples, right? Crayons, scissors, swim goggles.
Even moving into college, people constantly stepping in. It's got to be incredibly frustrating. She says, it is extraordinarily frustrating to feel that you are no better than a stranger's lowered expectations of you.
That really captures it. Which leads to a tricky question. how do you handle that?
How do you accept help you don't need without feeling like you're compromising your dignity or just confirming their low expectations?
It's tough, but the source brings in other perspectives, like Tony Memel.
The musician, born without a left forearm and hand.
That's him. He shares this story about being in Malaysia, and a waiter insisted on basically carrying his breakfast plate for him, item by item, like a toddler.
Even though he's a seasoned traveler, perfectly capable.
Exactly. But Tony's parents taught him humility and self-awareness. Knowing your own abilities means that external noise, the judgment, the unwanted help, it doesn't have to define you.
His mantra is powerful. What you think of me is none of my business.
Isn't it, though? Such a shift in perspective.
The book also offers practical strategies, like the pay it forward idea for when someone offers a discount you don't need or want.
Right. Acknowledge the kindness, decline the discount.
Yeah.
Promise to pass the good deed on.
And importantly, there's this realization the author comes to later in life. Sometimes accepting help, even if you don't technically need it.
It's not about you.
Right. It's about the other person, allowing them the chance to feel helpful. She talks about chopsticks versus a fork.
Ah, yes. It is undeniably easier for me to use a fork.
And now she can just gratefully accept the fork without it feeling like a defeat or a statement about her ability. It's just easier.
That's real growth, isn't it? Finding that grace.
Definitely. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. A huge theme in the book is letting kids explore, try things, supporting their passions.
Absolutely critical. Even if, from the outside, the outcome seems, well, unlikely.
The author mentions her own tryout for the swim team. She didn't make it.
But it wasn't devastating. It just led to brainstorming other things she could do. The trying itself was valuable.
And there's that lovely story about her son Charlie and the piano.
Oh, yeah. She initially thought piano lessons were just for his sister Savannah.
But she noticed something in him.
His silent expressions of yearning. She paid attention, supported it, and he found a passion she hadn't foreseen.
That's beautiful. And the baseball story with Charlie, too. Little League.
Yes, the glove issue. She couldn't initially imagine how he'd managed to wear a standard glove.
But they didn't give up. They looked for a flexible glove.
Driven by Charlie's persistence. He even wrote an essay about it later, If the Glove Fits. It shows the power of supporting that drive, even when the how isn't clear.
And Tony Memel, again, wanting to play guitar.
Right. The immediate thought is probably, with one hand, how?
But his parents didn't shut it down.
No, they followed his lead. And he figured out this amazing workaround with a pick and duct tape.
He joked he was literally born with a guitar pick holder.
And the book makes the point. Parents have the power to help make or break those dreams. Choosing to support the exploration is key.
Okay, the book also has to address the tough stuff, like bullying.
Yeah, it doesn't shy away from that. It acknowledges that seeing your child face intentional cruelty is just shattering. One of your greatest fears has been realized.
David Axelrod's quote about loneliness being heartbreaking really hits hard there.
It does. But the author talks about a shift in focus, not just helping her son Ethan bounce back from bullying.
But helping him bounce forward, what does that mean?
It means teaching kids powerful insights about the bully. Like, the bully doesn't actually know you. To know Ethan is to love him, she says.
You can't truly hate someone you don't know.
Exactly. And fundamentally, bullies are usually miserable themselves. Happy kids are never mean. They're trying to shift their own pain onto someone else.
That reframes it significantly.
It does. And the source even suggests there could be an unexpected sort of upside to surviving bullying.
An upside.
Emerging stronger, wiser, often more empathetic, and eager to help others who are struggling.
We hear some stories about that, right? Peyton Chandler.
Yes, the upper lip kid. He learned anger management, relied on a friend's advice, and Victoria's response to a bully.
Don't mess with me. I'm a Taurus.
Haha, yes. And her affirmation. Even with one wing you can fly. So powerful.
And Cassidy Weitzer's experience being judged for not looking different taught her not to judge others.
It's about turning pain into perspective, it seems.
And educating others' peers, teachers is part of bouncing forward, too.
Definitely. The Kids Flaunt program is mentioned, where kids share their own differences.
Not just the child with the visible disability.
Right, because when all kids connect with their own uniqueness, their own different, it builds empathy. They realize everyone has something. The things that make me different make me, as one student put it.
That makes so much sense. Okay, let's talk about the support system, the inner circle.
Absolutely vital. The book talks about keeping safe people close.
Who are the safe people?
Family, friends. The ones who don't push, don't judge, who follow your lead, let you be authentic.
They might even run interference, like a defensive tackle against awkward questions.
Exactly, shielding you a bit when needed.
And getting the whole immediate family, the pod, on the same page is crucial too.
So important. Grandparents, aunts, uncles, you need consistent messaging, not conflicting signals for the child.
There's that story about Parker with cone dystrophy.
Yes, staying with her aunt and uncle, they only saw opportunities and not obstacles.
And that allowed her to try things, gain confidence, maybe in ways her parents weren't quite ready for yet.
Exactly. It shows how that wider family support can open doors.
But this brings up another crucial point.
Right.
What about the parents? How do they cope? How do they maintain their own well-being?
Yeah, the source acknowledges this is immense. We hear from other parents navigating similar paths.
Like Stacy feeling like two Stacys.
Right. Capable work Stacy and then isolated home Stacy dealing with complex needs. And Kathy Marcus realizing she just couldn't fix everything.
Tamar Lieber intentionally keeping up friendships, career, community.
To keep an equilibrium. And Debbie Cass, who never thought she could handle it, but then realized, I became that mom. She found strength she didn't know she had.
It shows it's a massive journey for the parents, too. Self-discovery.
Absolutely.
And what about siblings? Their role gets highlighted, too.
Oh, hugely. A crucial, if unsung role, the source calls it. They're like a dry run for the outside world.
How so?
Because siblings often tell it like it is. They can help the child with the difference, develop a thicker skin in a way parents maybe can't or won't.
That makes sense. There are specific examples, right?
Loads. The author's brother, Teddy, asking innocent kid questions like, why do I only have one toe? Actually prepared her for strangers later.
And Ethan explaining his hands to his little sister, Savannah. That's him learning to advocate.
Right. And William acting as eyes for his brother Matthew, helping parents understand his vision limits. It's a unique insight.
An older sibling can be a normalizing force, too, yeah. Like the author's brother, Peter.
Totally. He just treated her like everyone else. Come on, Maggie. Here,
Right.
take my old bike. Just assumed she could do it.
That assumption of capability must have been huge.
And siblings find workarounds. Peter suggested the trombone mouthpiece and got a slide extension made for her.
And the shoes. The steel-toed orthopedic shoes.
Yes. She hated them initially, but Peter helped her see them as a superpower for kick soccer.
A secret strength, leading to that holy crap, Meg, it's a home run moment. Those shoes became empowering.
Amazing, right? But it's not always easy for siblings. The source is clear about that too.
What are the challenges for them?
They base the questions too, that torturous cross-examination. They have to figure out curiosity versus meanness. There can be a social cost, maybe being hesitant to have friends over.
Feeling isolated because their friends just don't get their family life.
Exactly. Nathan's essay is so powerful. Feeling shame about his brother Nick, getting furious when people stared.
But then growing into advocacy, realizing, I am a brother. There is no reason to feel shamed. Such a journey. And Oliver's sister having to be strong, distract him during tube changes, sacrifice my feelings, that takes a toll.
And Savannah, feeling overlooked, which led to her ADHD diagnosis and calling her mom out. A reminder they need support too.
Absolutely critical. The book stresses supporting siblings directly, prepare them, help them build empathy, maybe role play, and help them find their own community.
Peers who get it. Online groups, meetups.
Yeah, places where they don't have to explain everything.
And just briefly, the source mentions the opportunity here to educate the wider world.
Right. Every interaction can be a chance to shift perceptions. Like Jennifer Gottlieb in the store, calmly educating the mom who said, get away from him, he is sick.
Turning a negative into a teaching moment.
Yeah. So when we circle back to the conclusion,
It feels like the core message is that this journey, which starts maybe feeling like a crash landing into an unstoppable new reality,
it's full of insecurity and uncertainty.
it actually becomes this engine for incredible growth and acceptance for everyone involved, not just the child. The parents, the siblings, they all grow profoundly.
And conquering those initial fears, embracing that new normal, that's where the gift lies.
It really seems to be the takeaway. This deep dive into Born Extraordinary is such a powerful reminder, isn't it? Navigating life with differences is complex, challenging.
But also just packed with opportunities for resilience, for dignity, for growth.
We've covered so much that crucial parents journey towards self-love, the power of letting kids try and, yes, sometimes fail.
Teaching them how to handle the world's reactions, the good and the bad, the huge role siblings play.
Learning to accept help while still holding on to dignity. and just the incredible unexpected growth that comes out of it all.
You think about those stories we touched on, the kid finding pride at diabetes camp, Victoria cutting her stress away, Tony Memel finding his music.
The sibling becoming an advocate, the parent discovering strengths they never knew they had. As you listen, what story, what insight really stands out to you?
And here's something to really chew on. If this book shows how focusing on ability, on dignity, on resilience can so powerfully reshape the experience of living with visible differences,
Yeah.
what could applying their exact same mindset that focus on capability and dignity mean for the less visible differences, the challenges, the insecurities, maybe even the secrets that all of us carry around?